this one. There you go.
You'll have to
I have to
read it as it
restamp
goes
it
by.
because I didn't even put the date right.
Well, I can read this one. Too bad.
No.
Okay. All right.
Does it bother you if I have 2 stamps on it?
I'll just wipe one out.
Oh, you got the date wrong on one?
Sure did.
Sure. You know, that's a big responsibility down there. Not many of us have been able to run it without trouble.
Well, you know, I got a lot of things going, trying to control the crowd.
Yeah, well, crowd control, you try to multitask like that. I don't know why, guys. The only day you forget to reset the date on it is the date you stamp something official before you stamp it on your agenda to make sure it's right.
Yeah, I usually do that. I guess I'm ready. Make a motion, you said?
What? I said, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I can make it if you want.
Go ahead.
There's a motion to approve the budget, resolution. That's the date. For 2021 budget.
I'll second the motion.
Motion Stegner and second Derby to approve the resolution for the fiscal year 2021 maximum property tax levy.
I need a roll call vote. So Derby,
Aye.
Spencer,
Aye.
Gensel.
Aye.
We don't have to stamp this one, though, do we?
No.
The trouble with that one.
And then, I guess the 2 of those are the 2
Whatever on top is 1, and then the next one is 2. So 1 yes, 2 no's.
Yeah, I'll be able to have enough time to,
What time is your, 2 o'clock before city?
no, 1 o'clock. So it's,
Terry, I called NIAC about, and the city for city, about the proclamation of the support for NIAC.
Yeah.
And the city didn't have anything, and NIAC was working on something and hasn't got back to me yet.
as far as explaining what they're gonna do with it, or,
Just for the number.
yeah, the,
Showing our support for it.
showing our support for their foundation. Have they published what it's for or anything, anywhere?
Yeah, I have pamphlets in my office.
Is it, yeah. I hate voting on something before I know what it is. Or,
Maxine.
yeah, actually, we just have to go with it, you know, we've gotta pass this thing, so we can figure out what's in it.
Talk about it. Never heard that before.
No, yeah,
That was Nancy. That was Nancy.
yeah, and pretty good man. Well, let's see, I guess we can move to number 5. Set public hearing for master matrix for Linden 7 site. And then I have to get back up to my P4C, but there's a one up there.
That'll be February 18th at 9 a.m. if you agree.
Whose property is this on then?
It was someone I hadn't heard of.
The matrix is in my office if you want to look at it before you go.
Because there's a Bob Fisher Trust, Michael Half-Path, Pamela Hartman,
It's not, yeah,
Keith Peter,
it's in the southwest corner.
the Bob Fisher Trust.
Could be that one, or is there one just, what's the next one to the east?
That's the
Have to have,
Lorianne Brew Trust.
no, it's not that one. God, it seems like the name on it was different.
Do you need a copy of that too before you leave today?
I suppose I should look at it before. Yeah, I haven't, we haven't had the hearing conference, haven't heard anything from anybody about it.
Just an idea. Hancock County zoning administrator goes to all those site visits and comes up with the reasons why they work or they don't work, or maybe that's something that you guys wanna.
Yeah, it would be, they have him go instead of the supervisor, or they both go?
From what I heard from Andy, is he's the one who goes and he does all the research to make sure that the matrix is correct and.
Well, I mean, you just read through their matrix, and if they get all the right points and stuff, which they never submit one that doesn't meet all the criteria.
Sometimes they do. Andy said he's had some
Is that
that,
right?
yeah, that aren't correct.
You have to make sure that the statute allows it. You might say supervisor has to. I don't know, I haven't read the statutes, you know.
Can you imagine that Hancock County would do something that wasn't legal?
Okay,
But,
I'll make a motion to, set the public hearing for master matrix of Linden 7 site for 2/18 at 9 o'clock.
second that.
Motion Sheffield, second Stensrud, to set the public hearing for master matrix of Linden sites 7 site for 2/18 at 9 o'clock. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
So we're gonna table the proclamation.
Put on the agenda for next week again.
Is 7511 or 7530? I'll never get them straight. Chris has got it.
Oh,
We're ready.
okay.
Thank you.
I don't, if you want, you can have it. Otherwise, I'll put it in file.
My stack of stuff for reference.
Perfect.
Morning.
Morning.
So the rest of your family last night.
Did ya? Basketball game or something?
Your brothers and Dale, yeah, no, your mom, yeah.
I think they maybe play again Friday. I haven't seen Hunter and Hayden play at all this year.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. Maybe one more chance.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, we've got that in tournaments, huh?
Yeah. I don't have anything today. Yes.
Got it.
Wasn't too bad of a push this weekend.
Yeah. I didn't hear about any, issues or anything.
Could have been a lot worse.
Always, yeah, always rather not run on the weekends if we don't have to, but
Yeah.
you gotta.
Me, I got something worse than Saturday night snow, so that means I gotta get over there and clean the church off. Yep, they got lucky to cancel the thing, that's
Yeah,
So I had somebody ask me if it's possible we could do that. We didn't, I think in Germany, where they used some kind of material to create a paved road that's also solar.
I've heard about that.
really solar besides.
Yeah. So of course,
Well,
this
that's
person
gotta be
also said,
expensive.
could we do 150th by the church?
Yeah, okay,
Pretty
okay.
Yeah, oh, okay, yeah, that would be,
Yeah, I've heard about these that kind of like store energy and then melt off and kind of take care of themselves, but I imagine the capital cost is pretty
I
outrageous.
would say the original investment's gotta be pretty steep.
Unless you can get federal dollars to cover it.
Yeah,
They're looking for unique ideas right now. Have you gotten that email?
I haven't.
Transportation through DOT and federal highway have been getting notices. They're looking for unique
Mm.
ideas.
There's a lot of ideas out there, but none of them seem to cost any less than their tried and true methods, which is too bad.
Yeah, most of them,
I heard one about turning plastic bottles into asphalt too. That'd be nice. I think there's a company in Germany or one of those countries over there.
They do that with glass already, they grind glass up.
Yeah, they're trying to get rid of glass too.
Or at least I've heard of in the past, and, but they still do.
Yeah, I mean, the most advanced thing I think they've been doing around here is putting recycled shingles and asphalt, and that's been done for a while, but
I heard or read someone once, they were talking about, like, the water it takes to like cool a nuclear power plant. They run pipes underneath the roads, and they didn't have it, the roads off.
I guess we got our bid letting coming up here the 18th, so we'll see what kind of pricing we get on our, pretty basic asphalt projects. Hoping they're under estimates. Let you know what we find out there.
You keep up with Minnetonka at all, and, they're not, they don't allow salt anymore,
Mm,
and how they clean their roads.
I haven't.
What lake is that up there? Lake Minnetonka?
Yeah, lake towns have a
That's high-end.
different struggle than we have. I guess, most of our salt would get filtered through the ground in the grass, but not all of it, but we don't have any, major lakes with pollution problems. Too bad.
When I lived in Colorado back in the 80s, the state of Colorado didn't allow for getting salt. And now, back in the 80s, they were ahead of their time.
Are they using other products,
They were
Mike,
using,
or
No. Well,
just kind of?
out there, they were using volcanic ash,
Mm.
cinders. And now I've heard through companies, they have machines that develop their brine. So they use brine now.
Mm.
So it doesn't have the wash away effect as much as.
I guess it depends on what's in it.
I've heard the places that don't use salt, they're using that, it's like a backer, when it's got the little studs on it.
Mm.
They pull it down the road and it's supposed to bust up the ice.
Mm.
Transport or whatever, what do they call it?
Cylinders.
Smaller gas and spikes like that. Might need a little extra weight up.
I didn't have a
That's it for me.
How's our budget looking this year for on schedule?
Nothing stands out. We'll have to do an amendment for some kind of late year stuff from last year because we had the fiscal year change fall in kind of a tough, a bad time for when we were paying for gravel and some other things. So we will do an amendment. I'll take a harder look at it and see if there's anything else that needs to be adjusted, but I think it'll just be a handful of things that should wash out. Some of those things are pretty tricky to, keep an eye on because fuel, depends a lot on how much plowing we do in the winter, but you don't usually see it until you start stockpiling after the winter, because you're using the fuel for something else, snow, which has no return, whereas using it for hauling rock, has a very direct return. So, but overall, I think, our winter has been manageable, in comparison to some tougher ones.
But it's not over yet.
Nope. The worst of it was after this time last year too, so.
Well, we'll just hope for one of them years where it didn't get worse after this time.
Yeah. So Carl asked for budget amendment stuff here, so I'll kind of run through everything else too and give you an update on where everything's at.
Okay, then we'll go back to set public hearing for master matrix for Linden 7 site.
I told you the wrong date, should have been March 3rd.
We need to,
So just rescind his motion from before.
And revote.
I'll send my motion. Then make a new motion to set the public hearing for master matrix for Linden 7 site for March 3rd?
March 3rd.
March 3rd at 9. Second that. Motion John Gold, second from Stensrud to set the master matrix for Linden 7 site for 3/3 at 9 o'clock.
You're also rescinding your previous motion.
I rescinded it ahead of time. I was good enough. So should I be in a vote on this?
You did both in one motion, is that okay?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You guys have maps or developers' names for that one? Just so I can kind of make a note.
No, that's, you can look at it.
Okay.
I believe Christian, since it's going to be the end user and
It's Pinnacle.
so, yeah, I wanted to say it's Pinnacle. All right.
This is Chris.
We're ready for you.
Okay, thank you.
Rick coming for the bid lighting, Carl? Oh, you know.
Hi. Oh, Scott, since you're here, did you want to talk about this? The one that you sent?
Sure. So last week we talked about that restoration project. Sounds like there may be some funding available to help with the road crossing portion, but I gotta look into that further with Robert.
Yeah, who's somebody sent me?
Robert.
Yeah, Rob, that's right.
So that's one thing that I'm looking into. The other thing is, I guess depending on if that's not available, you know, if the county road department is obligated to, you know, participate and pay for it, the portion across the road, or can we kind of just abstain for it and hope they can find another resource to pay for that portion? So I'd ask Carla if we should get an opinion as to, you know, whether we're obligated or not, because
I think that's a good point. I'd like to read an email I got from, or text I got from a constituent.
So normally, when, drainage district tiles or private tiles cross the road, we refer to Iowa Code 468.108, which just says we're at Board of Supervisors shall move, build, or rebuild the bridge, drain, ditch, or drain, paying the costs and expenses, including construction, maintenance, and repair for the crossing. So, typically we would, if anybody's putting a private tile across and they have agreements from both sides, we'll put in the part across the road. Drainage district tiles getting upgraded, we'll put the part across the road. Repaired, we'll do the repairs or pay for them. So normally we do. In this case, it's a little bit different. The tile is remaining as is under the road, the original drainage district tile, and they're not planning to do anything with that in the right of way, but they're planning to add this extra kind of overflow intake and tile line from there all the way to daylight. And so that would need to go under the road, and they've proposed that we pay for that. Well, we already own and maintain one tile. Are we obligated for the second for the sake of this restoration? I don't know the answer to that, but I would think that, overall, this restoration project is intended to not have any cost to the landowners. Well, whatever we pay as the road department, it's relayed, so.
Yeah.
And John Torbert is coming in next week, and he's IDVA, so maybe we can wait and ask him too next week when he's here. And see what he thinks, because he can always get with Doug Strike, the attorney for IDVA, and get an opinion that way.
I can't understand how any other entity could decide they want to do something and make someone else pay for part of it.
Plenty of examples out there, but,
I know,
That's
yeah.
what's got this guy concerned. I normally don't say much, I don't like to cause trouble, but this stuff is getting out of hand and it's causing financial hardship to our county. Enough is enough. You know darn well the word option. The word optional with DNR means more ahead at everyone else's expense. They are not restoring wetlands to their original habitat 100 years ago. There were not dams and dikes built to hold back the water to get a problem. So the people are paying attention, put it that way.
Well, good.
so,
And I'm sorry.
the cost isn't huge here, but
No.
still think it's worth talking about. So that's one concern to raise. The other is that they wanted to kind of extend their dike into the right of way, which may cause a saturated roadbed, and that's problems for us, so, and the people driving on the road. So I think that we should look at modifying their construction plans, even if it isn't ideal for
They're
their,
intending on having the water level higher, so therefore it's gonna saturate everything around us.
yeah, I mean, their water level is much lower than the road, but I still think there's a better way to keep dikes and berms on private property and put intakes in our road ditch, and even if it's seeping through and into the intakes, that's fine, but it'll keep our road bed drier that way, we feel. So, I guess I got some correspondence with that design team, and I'll voice my concerns there, but so you guys know too. I think we should do something different than what they've shown us for the road right away.
And my question is, do we have to say yes? As a district, which means you guys?
Good question for Delbert.
They already have the easements. That's bought and paid for and done. So that's never gonna go
Or
away.
the trustees.
But you're the trustees of the district, so do you have to allow them to do this?
Could they
To your
force us
tile.
Change our tiles?
Yeah, I don't know.
My common sense would say no, but then that doesn't always apply.
That's what I would think as well, since it's the modification of the facilities.
So I don't know. That's another question for John. When he's here next week, we can talk about that.
Well, that's not good. Is it gonna affect the volume of water going into our tile, the districts?
No, it's just gonna pool it in some
Yeah,
areas.
no, actually, it would probably decrease the volume
Yeah,
downstream.
it's supposed to make it better for the districts.
Yeah.
So, and I did send a letter out to everybody and a copy of the plans with it. And so hopefully they'll,
Probably the biggest thing is gonna lessen the surge factors. Big belly washers aren't gonna immediately get to the tile,
yeah.
be stored for a while.
And I know one asked me if, if they're gonna keep this tile, are they having this one too? And then whose all is it? Do we have to create another lateral? Is it,
Just
are
move the
they
location of the
abandoning
lateral,
one and putting in the other, so then that's it?
If they're shutting one down and just make one go around it, is that gonna be the same lateral or is it?
Yeah, so. I mean, I guess when they did the one up here that we just approved last week, that was such a small thing and it only affected a couple landowners anyway, and it seemed fine. But this one, I feel like there's so much more to it that I don't know if we all understand everything that's gonna happen. So, that was my concern for the day.
It's just another one of those situations where we've gotta approve this thing so we figure out what it's gonna do.
So is this thing supposed to have like a 100-year flood guarantee type of thing on it?
Well, it's gonna be designed where it'll hold more water in a sense, so it should help out the drainage for everybody else on the big rain events.
Did they say they'd have somebody from their team at the informational hearing?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, the JD that talked and Lynn, I think are both gonna be
Okay,
here.
well, that'd be a better time. We should save up our questions, I guess, and try to,
Yeah, and that is gonna be on the 18th, because the 25th did not work, so it's the 18th.
during the board meeting.
Yes. Can you pull up the 18th? I wanna make sure that that's when John was coming also, or,
To pass those questions on to them ahead of time so they have a good answer for us.
Yeah, that might be good too.
I think it opened, but I don't know where it went.
okay, so he's not coming the 18th, that's the 25th that he's coming. So that's a week after.
Who, John?
Yeah. So I might
Send
I
it out
will-
to 'em.
call him and talk to him about all of it. And let's see if we can have an answer.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Also, I had Brian Knutson, he was snowmobiling and saw a big blowout. So he's not a landowner, he's not anything, he just happened to see it. It's in DD 89 on the main tile. And can we just go ahead and find a contractor, even though he's not a landowner?
Sure, that,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. I just want to make
Whenever we
sure.
become aware of it, we gotta fix it.
Right, right. And he's like, I would want it fixed if it was on my property. So. I'll take care
We
of
know
that.
whose property it is.
It's the northeast corner of Janice Knutson's property. I don't know.
Send it.
It's in section 23 of Mount Valley. Yeah. So, anyway, I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Nice big blowout for a fast moving snowmobile. It's actually an enjoyable experience. Northwest corner.
The northeast corner
Northeast,
of Janice's property. So,
section what?
23.
Section 20.
You know, for me. Okay, I'll be back up for the bid letting maybe.
Yeah, sounds good.
Rick, I'll be
I'll
here.
be here. I can't believe he's not here already.
Well, this is, what's 80?
Is 83 and 89 together?
No, 83, 83. So you said this is which part of the section?
It's in section 23. It's the northeast corner of Janice Knutson's property, but I don't know what part of that section is her property. And it's in DD 89. So hers is the southwest quarter.
Yeah. So it depends on which part of it.
Right. There's a 30-inch possibly.
He said it was huge. It's just sitting there.
It won't be cheap.
There's not very many landowners. So maybe I'll get a couple estimates. And that was another thing is none of them have complained.
Yeah,
Which none of those landowners have complained.
Well, if they know the hole is there, they just let it go.
Yes, that's what I fear. I don't think so.
No, he said he told her he didn't.
Well, it's not his land. I don't know if he farms it, but I don't think he does. But that just scares me a little bit that I'm gonna all of a sudden impose a huge bill.
Well, maybe, before we call the contract, or even call yeah.
Okay.
Well, let the landowners know that this is found out there and give them an opportunity to make a decision.
Yeah, but that's not really how that works.
You really, well, you can let them think that they have an opportunity to make a decision. So,
Yeah.
If it's found in disrepair, you shall maintain it.
Right.
All right,
So,
anything else for drainage?
not until 10.
All right, 9:30 a.m., a little late. Discussion of possible action to fund Winnebago County Historical Society newspaper project for the current fiscal year.
So Riley called me wondering if we had decided on anything yet. He thought he was gonna try and be here. But not. So I was trying to figure out if there's any way within our supervisor's budget that we have any extra money, like office supplies and other things that we can amend it, so we can include that in our funding. So this is last year. There's educational and training. That will be 70. Office supplies of 500, but then there's also the mileage. What you guys said there. That's actually. I think this is the one.
There's not much of a change here, is there?
So this is what's left in each of our mileages. I don't anticipate, I'll probably have at least 1,000 left in the
Mine will be going down.
There'll definitely be 1,000 left in there.
My mileage is probably going down because I won't be going to Allen Key anymore.
well, this is for this year's budget.
Oh, then I'll get
Transferring this year's budget through the amendment process to allow for donation. I guess what we had talked about in this last meeting was 2,500.
Well, I'll make sure I decide when they see it. Mileage is gonna change anyway, even for this year, because now, this will do the last meeting, we are gonna go to all different counties, all meetings around Mason City at their new offices at LC. So the most I'll ever have to travel is 55 miles to get to CSS meeting.
So cumulatively, we could probably come up with, 2,000 among the three of us in our mileage expenses, and then another 500 out of our office furniture budget.
I think that's a good way to do it. Let's do that then.
You think that'll work, Chris? When we do the budget amendment, we could,
Yeah, you just say what account number you want, what the account number is, what was budgeted, what do you need, and the total. And so, and then, yeah, so you write down everything that you need.
so I guess my motion would be for today to put $2,500 towards the Winnebago County Historical Society newspaper project in this fiscal year to be transferred from our supervisor's expense account in the amendment process.
Motion from Derby, a second from Stedsrud to transfer supervisor's mileage.
Mileage and office for
Nice.
We'll just put supervisor budget.
Supervisor budget to the Winnebago County Historical Society. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Have we ever done anything like this before? 31 years.
We have taken from, for the Fine Arts Center, we had, it was appropriated, but we didn't have any use for it, the home base Iowa.
Yeah, I remember.
We hadn't
something
passed
like
anything at that time, so we just transferred it to a different,
that. It's for 5,000.
yeah.
Okay. I guess what else we got left now is open forum.
This, you guys already talked about that NIAC thing?
We tabled it.
Oh, good.
Because we don't have a doctor to look at it.
Yeah, that was,
I was looking for it.
I'd love to see what this information on
Is Brian Knudsen in?
Yes, he is.
Hey Brian, Mike Stanford and the supervisors.
Mike,
Yes.
hey,
How's it
yeah,
going?
you got my voicemail from you?
Yeah, I got that, but, we're calling about that blowout down on, in Mount Valley. That you-
Oh, the one I told Chris about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
who farms that?
Who farms it? Mike and Paul Nelson currently do. It's on Janice Knudsen's farm.
Okay.
And that area is, it's in the northeast part of her farm. It's like kind of in a grassy, like a park that's in some kind of set aside or something like that. So
Okay.
there's no farm work done there, but she says the snowmobile trail has gone by there for years, and I just happened to notice it one day. My son and I were out riding, and I thought, geez, that's got to be fixed for whoever's setting the tree.
Yeah. Is that on the 30-inch, part of the tile?
It's gotta be, it's a big one. And
Okay.
coincidentally, I was looking at these, maps that I got in the mail yesterday on this huge wetback project, and it's on that main line there, so
Okay.
it's gotta be, I mean, it looks big.
Okay. Well, we just, yeah, we gotta fix it, but that might be a little more expensive than a normal blowout, so, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big one. That's what the hole there, it's good size. And they've got, some warning signs kind of, around there.
Okay. All right, well, done. on the 30 inch?
Yeah. Haven't ridden it yet this year. Sure for there's the Niagara.
Received.
Yes, please.
Stamp that received.
Today.
Yeah, whatever date you want to put on it, just go ahead.
And voting is open at the county auditor's office.
Today, I might just wait to make it worth their while to be working the polls.
Yes.
Got by for the first 100 years without using it. It's the need all of a sudden.
Well, I know they're expanding stuff.
Never been expanded before.
Well, like, there's gonna be a center in Fort City.
Oh,
Station
yeah.
3.
Oh, they're gonna have a satellite.
There's gonna be one, by Sheffield, here, and one in Charles City.
That's coordinated with workforce development.
I think
To support the creation of regional career centers to support workforce training needs. Support workforce training needs.
Yeah, that's what they talk about, that the workforce development needs.
There's, have they ever talked there about the, center out in Sioux City? I guess it's quite the facility. Real high tech and
Nyack,
kids
Sioux
get,
City.
no.
Oh,
It's a vocational thing kind of, but it's real high tech and the kids get excited to go there. It's something they want to go to and. Another one that's-
Well, I might be missing here, something here that
as far as the centers go.
well, if this is with workforce, not through it, but with it, then it's not, that wouldn't be aimed at kids, what we're doing here.
Well,
It'd be aimed
Some
at
would
those
be.
that. Well, yeah.
They do a lot of continuing education stuff, and I get it.
Every town has that, correct?
well,
Continuing ed, they still do that, come to like the.
Yeah, but this would be for, they said that medical, construction, manufacturing,
it's kind of a new project through the state.
yeah, there was 5 main areas that, it basically helps us create jobs in this area.
This facility in Sioux City is one of a kind that everybody's looking at as a possibility to model from.
Thank you.
Well, what's gonna cost, it's extremely minimal. It's just like everything else.
It's just another straw on the camel's back, I guess.
I'm not against it. Who are they held accountable? Is it totally Nyack? For making these things work down the road, 2 years from now, 3
What
years from now.
things?
The programs. Are they,
You talking about what? the
Is it
ones
just
with the
another-
satellite things? Or?
yeah, is it just another bureaucracy?
Yeah, they're working with businesses too. Guessing there's some public.
That would be my only concern, would be that we fund these things, but we really don't have any accountability of how good the money's being used,
Okay, so it says, it talks about.
Maybe 2 cents, 24 cents an acre for farmland a year, and $9 a separate. So a year or out of house, 2 cents a month.
Okay. Like you're talking about upgrading the classroom technology. They gotta renovate the auditorium.
But you know as well as I do, that a professor might think he needs this, he wants state of the art, I don't blame him, but in waiting budgets, or burgeoning budgets, I should say, is it necessary? Of course, if I was a professor there, I'd want the best I could get too, that's natural. But, AJ,
Having been an administrator for a college, you're stuck under certain constraints. So what you try to do is you try to achieve as close to what the current trend is. Honestly, educational funding, the way that it is, it's darn near impossible. Take, for example, communication studies just down the street. They have a lot of advanced technology and information, computers, everything else like that. But even that is behind nowadays what the current status of things are in the real world. Unfortunately, we can try to get it, but administrators are going to hold back as much as possible because they have to look at overall costs, they have to look at overall insurance, because that's skyrocketing to keep that many people walking around on campus, and you follow the drift down that road. So it's very, very hard. Yeah, professors wish they could have it, but generally they're not going to get it. When we set up construction trades on the campus, I ran. Basically, it was what I like to call a temporary permanent building. It was a trailer that they had just brought out and sat down, and from the outside it looked like a house, just a single ranch house. On the inside, you had classrooms that had been adapted into the room so that everybody could understand what needed to be done. Then you would go out and you would work basically in the weeds. In the back, we would lay concrete down, put whatever equipment we could out there, and then these kids would also go back out onto actual construction sites. So technically, what community colleges will do is move people, not necessarily in the classroom. If they want to get real world experience, they'll put them out in the field, working with like construction groups, organizations, companies, getting them to get that experience of the real world experience, which we cannot mimic. It's just not possible. Because once you get the latest stuff, which is sad. My biology room was 20, 30 years behind what it should have been. And that's a requirement at the state for graduation. So I've got kids that are going at electron telescopes, or electron microscopes, beg your pardon. And those things are horrendously out of date, because if they are actually go to a lab, they're looking at these microscopes going, how do you operate this? That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, there's no slam against education. They were in my situation and in pretty much everybody's situation, U of A, ASU, didn't matter who it was, we were always, always, always behind the real world, unfortunately. And that's just because of funding and the fact that even if we were to spend it, it's too late. That stuff's already updated. So I'd love to say, yeah, professor, we'll get what he wants. Ain't happening. I don't care if you're ASU. I don't care if you're at the University of Phoenix. It's not going to happen.
Well, I think this one is pretty
Right.
No, don't worry.
Thank you.
Oh,
It made it a big difference.
We don't have it. We gotta wait till next week.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Gotta look at it.
Thank you.
Send me some pass it on, please.
Yes.
Oh, here. Got one of these too. I don't have it together.
Since we have a little time here, I'd like to go back to drainage.
Kind of busy.
Well, it's between me and Rick.
Oh,
DD 11, when we annexed in land at the bottom end, what connects to DD 10. So
Right.
1 mile segment that is now DD 11 between, I think DD 10 ended at the road, and then a whole nother mile got added where it connects to the
Right.
DD 11.
there's a stretch there where there's been no work done on an open ditch. It's just a
Natural creek.
natural creek, yeah. And that was brought in, and I don't remember how we labeled that.
It's
Yeah, lower
DD, it's DD 11 Lower Main, from where 10 ends all the way to the river.
From where 11 previously ended.
Well, just where that natural creek goes from 10 to
Yep.
11 over, all of that is Lower Main. Because I
Yes.
didn't want to redo 10 because it's a
Yes.
tile system.
Yes,
So 11 actually dumps into lower main,
Yes,
and so does 10.
yes,
10
yes.
and 11.
10 always did.
yeah.
And it always dumped into the natural, so.
So the question was from a property tax, is there really a way to do a repair in that segment we just annexed?
I would say so. Yeah, we'd have to be careful as far as any permitting needed, but.
But that'll be part of that Lower Main cleanup anyway.
They didn't go that far up with trees.
No.
No, but I mean, we can look at that when we do the whole
There you go.
thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
good point.
we needed to get out the trees so we could go back and
Keep that
see.
in mind when you're looking at things.
Good
go all the
idea.
way up to 10.
Good idea.
And we did get drone coverage up to 10 as well through that quarter
Through
mile,
that
or
stretch.
3/4 mile stretch that certainly had a lot of slough off and was in rough shape.
Okay, oh, okay.
Bill's the chair of his phone.
Well, we'll just go by this lot.
I got 3 minutes.
Oh, my God. That's 3 minutes.
No, it's 2 different things.
Let's see if we need more of these. If we do, hang on to one. He wants to keep track of the bids. We'll be doing bid tabs and sending those out, but he just maybe totals at this point.
Everyone's over here got it too.
See if we have enough of these. Oops, good catch. Wow.
Try this with my hand.
Yeah,
Do you need one?
I think we're okay, or you were gonna write, weren't you?
Yeah, we may need.
Oh, he's got a machine right here, I didn't realize that.
Oh, handy.
Okay. 10 a.m. bid letting for E1811 improvement project.
Gave you that last one, because it's got an engineer's estimate on it too.
Oh, it is.
And that's the form we'll be filling out after we read all these. So we'll do a complete bid tab in the office, get that back to you and all the bidders. Ten potential bidders, on our bid list.
Thank you.
One of them we're not familiar with, so if they happen to be low, we'll want to check their references. But most of the rest of them we know. We'll open their bid security first, and then the bid. So we'll go about it. It's 10 now?
Yeah.
Okay. First one I'm going to read is B and B, the letters, B and B Farm Drainage.
You can have it if you want.
You're probably not familiar with them, but they have done a few jobs for us. We submitted a cashier's check for the bid bond. They can either do a certified cashier's check or a bid bond. Okay. The option one, the half-inch coefficient for B and B, the total bid, $247,442.55. 247,442.55. The bid for option two, the 1-inch coefficient, total bid $315,802.50. 315,802.50. The next one is from King Excavation of Cylinder, Iowa. They've done some of our jobs before too. They have submitted a bid bond, which is acceptable. Total bid on option one, $289,861.70. 289,861.70. Total on option two, the 1-inch coefficient, $377,250 even. 377,250. The next one is from Reutzel Excavating. It's R-E-U-T-Z-E-L. Reutzel Excavating out of Burt. I'm not sure if they've come this far very much. Another good contractor we've worked with. They have submitted a bid bond. The bid from Reutzel. Option one, the half-inch, $362,110. 362,110. Option two, the 1-inch coefficient, $484,695. 484,695. The next one is Farm Tile Pro, I believe it is. Didn't see that on the list. Farm Tile Pro out of Osage. Provided a check for the bid security.
What was that name?
Osage. Bid on option one, Farm Pro, is $341,780, 341,780. Total bid on option two, $436,645, 436,645. Next one is from Jensen Excavating, Jensen, Jensen Excavating. Who's got it? Albert Lee. Bid bond has been provided. Like such a klutz doing this. Option one bid. The option one bid, $276,905, 276,905. Option two, total bid $345,405, 345,405.
Maybe it is.
Keep it step us to This one is from Vaughn DeLoss Construction.
Who is that again?
Vaughn DeLoss Construction.
Could you spell that, please?
Yep, VAUGHN, that's Vaughn. DeLoss is DE capital LOSS.
And where are they out of?
They're out of Spencer. Total for option one, $395,300, 395,300. Total on option two, $480,865, 480,865.
Was their bid bond good? Bid bond good?
Yes, sorry. They actually, yeah, they did a check. It reads that they can do a bid bond or certified or cashier's check. This is from Tom. This is from Rognus Brothers out of Lake Mills. Bid bond is fine. Total for option one, $248,625, 248,625. Total on option two, $319,820, 319,820. It's the last one.
Yep.
Last one we're doing here is Holland Construction. As soon as we get through these, we'll take and check at least the low two bids, and be sure they're okay. And then if it's someone we're familiar with, we'll be prepared to make a recommendation. Bid bond is acceptable. Total bid from Holland is on option one, $245,235, 245,235. Total on option two is $316,887, 316,887. Like I say, we will take these and check the low too, and hopefully be back here with a recommendation for you.
The low between option 1 and 2 is different. Holland is actually low in option 1. Still low on 2.
You'll have some deciding to make for the, yeah. One contractor is low in option 1, and one's low in option 2.
Where was the B&B out of?
Wallingford,
Wallingford,
Is that Iowa?
yeah,
Esterville, just south of Esterville.
Oh.
yeah. That's actually, my address is actually Wallingford, my personal address.
All right.
Very small town.
Gotcha.
Something back.
Yeah.
Check those.
Go add 'em up.
Check these, yeah. Thank you, everybody.
They've got to choose which option. They had to see the final
Tomorrow's
prices.
gonna tally up to see if the addition is proper.
Well, obviously, me and Rob leaned away from it, the whole thing, because the cost ended up getting,
But I mean, as the group budget.
well, obviously, everybody down below is gonna go for the one. You know, it just blew me right out of the water what this all was. They are under?
Well, on the bigger mistakes, they have slightly above.
So was this, what was going on? So I didn't get any, because it all goes down to Donnabelle. And she was supposed to be sending me, and I just didn't get it, and I was like, she had emailed me here a week ago and asked Rob if he got anything. Yeah, I thought I saw something, but I didn't open it yet. She called me today. I said, well, open it up and see what's going on. And then I looked online, I'm like, oh, the meeting's right now. So I just beat foot down here, and I didn't know what was all taking place today. Deciding who's going to do it.
Okay. That's the one that you
Because now we have.
You guys like
See the final number, you choose which one.
I get
Yep.
like the one.
Decision to make.
Well, that's why yeah, they're gonna prepare lower end of that.
Well, yeah, because was there an option to go with which one? Yeah, so, but, like, oh, I guess what you're saying is you could actually pick the.
That is a great guy.
That's the low bid.
What does somebody?
I'll just wait over here.
Which, yeah, so, but there ain't a guarantee for anybody
Yeah.
know which option they want. I mean, so that has to be figured first, right?
So they've got the final prices to look at.
Now, you're
Yeah.
saying that the district is has to pay half, so I didn't know.
That would be, So, yeah,
Have to help pay for, let's say you.
yeah, on the which coefficient, I mean,
315 or 245.
No,
well, yeah, and I guess,
so he gets to help pay for the other guy that mitigated.
you know,
I think that was more than that. That's the half. That's the half, yeah. Yeah.
well, and I mean, that's always the way of the time. I mean, I feel like if the whole deal was,
Even though that they.
I didn't know how all, any of this, well, obviously Ben started the whole deal, but
Drainage districts cut the-
you're obviously gonna wanna go with 1 inch if it's
A
going
lot of
to,
times it's not.
I mean, you're doing this for an improvement down the road, but
You-
I didn't know,
they
like,
do enough to get
how it
some-
all worked.
We get.
The guys down below only pay this far. Where she's at the top, obviously the farm I'm working about gets to pay the whole, every time.
But it's also on.
That's not.
Yeah, yeah,
For $70,000,
It's got 80.
yeah, yeah, from year to year.
More than you
Or-
do.
the difference between
Yeah,
blowout.
I must, because I had to initiate on my land.
which I feel like it's going.
There's so many of those instances that it's crazy.
Oh, the current system is in there, it's very long.
Oh, it's,
So it's the half inches.
Yeah, well, most people don't understand.
And improvement.
yeah, so,
They don't even think that it's the man that.
to,
Could be.
yeah, oh,
Nothing.
of course, if you guys,
Yeah,
and, yeah, but at the point, even being at the top, the way it's working now, I can tile all I want and it's not going,
Oh,
cause
let's
it's
no.
plumb full up there now.
Unless it's dumping on it, somebody else.
See, and what we're hoping is,
That's what was so screwy with this whole thing, is you get down,
Lots more.
you know, Broadridge was bad, Anderson is bad now, but from that fence on south across Harmon, there was obviously a little
Once, and that's the most.
issues he had, but not like, I mean, mine should be flowing out somewhere, but obviously there's not enough to fall. You know, cause it just runs full nonstop, and I've got 40 acres, or I don't,
one of the thoughts is this improvement.
When the kids were at school, I had a couple.
That's-
To see how much pressure
Yeah.
takes off everything else.
and that's what robs, I mean,
We wouldn't
it's
have to
obvious,
actually go up and improve everything else upstream.
yeah, I mean, it's all old and junk, but I think you could probably, if this took care of it down below, the pressure, then you can fix stuff that's, you know, just simple little
That's
stuff.
what's now.
I mean, obviously it's going ahead years ago. Couple years ago. Yeah, I think for the future, it's a 73. I mean, obviously, the guys, I would go with the 1 inch myself for that. Yeah, for the future of
Yeah.
years down the road, 'cause everything always runs out of capacity, no matter where.
It's
Look,
kind of like the courthouse repairs and building new jails, those people, the present gets to pay for it, but the benefit of people in the future.
exactly, and that's, but the hard part for like Rob and I, or Don, up top,
So our
was
window was this
expense.
big, now it's down to this big.
Literally on, I've looked at on
It's
that,
not the craziest.
we could put our own private, because I looked at that like 3-4 years ago, go north and take, and you could have your own main, and I think at that time
I
it
know
was
it
80
took
grand.
at least 6 weeks.
She's gonna, unless it does this whole project, like the engineer,
Early.
you know, that big number,
Yeah.
all the way up and fix all the way
He
to
says,
hers.
he says you gotta.
She's gonna spend more money in tax than to put our own private
Well, in the old days, they always damn taught.
main to the north, and where Rob's, his deal was his farm to show a lot more acres going this way than it actually does, where he can get you to go north, because his corner goes into Smith, it does go north now, so there's
And like
all that, but
I say, like this
Um,
county work.
I personally,
You know, some tile.
I mean, I'm gonna have to help pay for it one way or the other through Donnabelle, because
And, you know,
I'm gonna help her out, because it's a big chunk, but it's gonna be piled up as it goes through.
I do.
I think this, well, like, I didn't see the letter, I was supposed to get it, but I know like Rob's is 20, and mine's the letter that was sent, whatever that was just for this first jump. Obviously, well,
turned out.
Well, I don't know, I didn't see the letter, what went out.
Okay, I failed to send it to you, Carl.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Because,
I admit my faults, Carl.
no, I don't. But I didn't know that this was going on. I was in keys for the camera down here.
You recommend another public hearing?
That's,
I think it definitely needs to go. I mean, this part's simple, you know, you go with the least
How long
expensive.
do we have to accept?
30 days.
So.
That's what we write in the specs.
Now we gotta give the landowners a choice which option they want to go.
I'll
That's
give
the
you
best.
my
I
email
thought they'd expressed one
and
inch,
address.
but
Well, yeah, but then now, but I think they want to wait.
The worst part
is.
you're probably right. I just don't
I had
remember the
Annabelle
details.
email me like
For
a week ago,
Yeah, I
whenever
talked
she
to
was,
her.
yeah, she said that in the email.
Yeah.
I got
It'll be
busy.
a hard decision.
And I was, she
There you
said
go.
you were sending
Well
it, so
put.
then I didn't see it, then I knew
I
Rob
was
had
trying to think of
it. I
a
said, you get anything?
politically
He
correct
said,
way to
yeah,
say
and
that.
opened it. So I called him this morning. He's like, yeah, I'll go. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's right now. So, but I think that, yeah, I guess I would say, you guys gonna have to pay, that's gonna have to go through everybody on it. And I mean, it's going ahead, I feel like you do the best. It's just, yeah, and like Rob said on the way down, if this does help the refresher, it helps us now, maybe additional stress.
They got the right, they can all go through it.
Yeah.
Either way,
And then the only thing that stuck out was like, this right away, I remember in that, down on Harmon, he gets paid so much for a right away. It basically don't cost him nothing.
That's.
Yeah, do you have that?
40 grand or whatever in right away was gonna take care of his taxes. Well, yeah, well, it was a no-brainer after you get this 40 grand right
I think I
away.
just left it.
I mean, then it's, you know, I didn't know that it was, you know, where I'll never get, she'll never get it right away up there because she's at the top.
That's kind of our.
You know, and it's not the big chunks
It's pothole country where
down there, but that,
bigger tiles will be replaced.
what I took away that day on his estimate and stuff, there was that 40-some thousand right away. I think, I don't know, easement for, that pays for anything that's going on down there for him, you know, just pay it off right away in the front, just give him money to go. That's a no-brainer. Yeah, let's do it. You know? So that was one thing, but obviously me and Rob voted no, because that's best for the landowner up top. You know. But yeah, I think we need to find out which one to go with first. But
All right, well.
Yeah, the two low bids were accurate. The math was fine on them. It's a matter of how you decide which option to do. The option one was, the low bid was slightly over our estimate, and the option two, the bid was under our estimate, pretty close. So both the low bidders are good contractors, really good contractors. So I don't see that as a problem. It's just a matter of being sure the landowners are satisfied with the decision.
You want us to make that decision today with the caveat that this might not be going through? I suppose we can do that, we gotta wait.
Yeah, I mean, by law, you don't have to, but as far as if there's any uncertainty with the landowners,
Right.
yeah,
Okay, I think we better wait. We have probably a 95% chance of guessing right.
yes, I believe you're right.
Okay,
Carl, when would be a good date to have another meeting? I mean,
Well, I
what's
suppose
good?
before the 30 days, right?
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
know.
Yeah, and I mean, personally, for me, I can make it work most
Okay,
of
so
the
just
time. I just gotta know.
like 2 weeks from today is good enough?
Yeah,
are we talking, just let them know when the decision will be made.
Could you,
Formal hearing.
could this get, I mean, could they look, you know, if you sent this out to
Send
landlords
that out to everybody.
and then just highlight that the difference is gonna be to go to 1 inch coefficient is gonna be,
Right.
70,000.
I think, Rick, can you guys fill this out with the top two?
Yes,
And then I can send this with, and this has got it itemized, and then they will see what the difference is between both?
Yep,
Instead of all 8, because we don't care about the other 6.
yeah,
Would that be okay?
I think so.
And then cost estimates for each landowner.
Yeah, I mean, it could be pretty simple if they go with, you could send out if they go with
Mhm.
1 inch at $315, here's your
Yep.
cost. Half inch at the $245, here's your cost.
Right,
Simple, and here's gonna be a meeting.
yeah.
Pick and choose.
But I believe we should make a decision on the 25th. No more, I mean, we're spending a lot of money in engineering fees to have
Yeah.
to keep coming back.
Yeah, I
So
feel like it's,
I feel like the 25th is the end.
We do
Okay.
9:30?
9:30?
And that doesn't have to be a public hearing, as long as we notify.
you're just
everyone.
after input. Yeah, it doesn't have to be, no notice.
Informational meeting.
There you
yeah.
go. There you
Yeah. And then we also have to add on there to, are you,
To
are
consider
you,
approval,
yeah, we have to consider approval for the bids.
we need number 10 out there too.
Because we haven't approved a contractor yet, but we'll do
Right.
that.
yeah, you might as well. If
Yeah.
They have the information, they just come with what they're,
Right. And it's one or the other. The project will go through, it's one or the other.
yeah, cause that's already, it's gonna be done, it's
Right.
just gotta choose.
Which one they want to
Here,
go with.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
I think that's personally,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
my personal, doesn't happen. That's the way I'd go about it.
I'm delighted we got that many bids,
Yeah.
good bids and good contractors and, yeah.
Yeah. You could just email it to me too. That'd be a lot simpler.
We should get our DD11 stuff.
We got everything we need to say on that, Seth? Okay, then. 10:30 a.m. informational hearing for DD 11 main tile improvement project in regards to wetland mitigation.
Yeah, I think we're gonna swap out files here quick.
What's that?
Are you staying for this project too?
I think I'm going to educate myself if I know. I know it's pretty full up there.
I have a USB for you with the site plans.
Sure.
Yep, perfect.
That's a different.
Thank you. Where'd be best for this?
Is it a good spot?
The other side here?
Maybe over by Terry, so that, the,
We want everything.
yes.
Those are the two main options we're gonna talk about, one front, one back. basically it's short ditch, long ditch options. This is the one where we looked at open ditch, where I'm sure there's been some discussion about this, where the to get larger tile in there, the tile would be exposed or would not have much cover at all on it. So that's where we ended up dropping back and looking at open ditch. We're going to talk about two of the options, and I'm just going to call them short ditch, long ditch. With the short ditch, what has happened is that we still don't get much cover on the pipe when we start out from the end of the new ditch. So we had to go with arch pipe, squish pipe, arch pipe they call it, to get some cover. But that pipe is very expensive. So that's how the short ditch option ended up more expensive. It ended up cheaper to put more ditch in, even including easements and purchasing of the right-of-way. It just was cheaper because we eliminated the arch pipe. So that's where we'll emphasize our recommendation is to do the long ditch. Cost-wise, more drainage capacity.
And we were able to get lower with that too, with ditch not needing as much slope. We were able to get lower so it can outlet further potentially as well.
Where the end of the ditch on the long ditch proposal is, before you get to the road, does the ground go up slightly there? Would we, if we were to make that ditch, like say 60 to 120 feet shorter?
Oh,
So the farmer can still go around the
Yes.
ditch? Can I vote yes to that?
yes, yes, that's always a good
Can I
idea.
go over the road?
Yes.
Farm around?
Always a good idea. Better than putting another pipe across the ditch. Big expense, just stop short. Yes, that's a really
I
good
think you'll have
idea.
enough cover there.
Yes, yes, with the longer ditch, absolutely we will. Yeah, some of this, there's tile right through the wet areas, but it's so shallow, it's broken, it's crushed, it's a real mess, it's not draining. So,
I don't think it'll affect the cost a whole lot.
oh, no, very little effect, very little effect. So,
Almost maybe to the end where that lateral goes north maybe or something.
I recall there was a low pocket there just on that side of the road, but we could certainly look at that.
But like maybe to that lateral just past.
yeah, that's logical. And we were going downstream a little bit anyway to retie the old tile into the new ditch, so that would all fit with what you're talking about. Now, we had done estimates before. I do have estimates of cost for the short ditch and the long ditch. I don't know if you want. I suppose you want to look at those. Yeah. Yeah. In the upper left on these, I'm sure we need enough for everybody for that. We might have to do some more there too. We'll basically just talk about the summary of this. This is a pre-classification. This, since the decision hasn't been made for sure whether this is going to follow through on construction. This is a pre-classification to get people very close. We have one left.
I already have it.
Okay. Remember what the total was on the first one? Oh, thank you. Okay. So you want to pass this one out too? Yeah.
Another option.
We have detailed estimates for each of the projects, but I don't know that that'd make a difference to you or not. Bottom line is that the sheets he's handing out is spreading the cost of each of these options, whether it's an open ditch, long ditch, open ditch, short ditch. And
And when I sent out the letters for these, I had the DD18 project mixed up in my head. I thought they had already decided on the half inch or the 1 inch coefficient, and they have not. So I did only send the 1 inch possibility, so at least that's the most that you're gonna pay. You can always decide on the half inch. Because we hadn't done a,
Open ditch, the half inch would only affect past the open ditch.
right, that's correct, because the open ditch is going to be more like a 2 inch coefficient just by the nature of the ditch.
so I just wanted to point that out, that was my fault.
That's a good point. So the sheets we spread out on the long ditch, we spread $1.8 million to give people an idea on cost. And then on you have a shortage total?
I don't think you have any much for those.
2.5, wasn't it? Million? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, here I have one to use to make copies if we need them. So just in summary, the short ditch, we spread 2.5 million, and I think my estimate was just over that. And then on the long ditch, we spread 1.8 million, and my estimate was just over that too. I'll just put it in round numbers. I'm hoping that the bids actually come in better than our estimate for this. So that's why I dropped down slightly from my detailed estimate to what I spread for cost. Now, we're at this point today because of the wetland question on this. If you improve the drainage on land that has farmed wetlands in it, you need to mitigate those wetlands. In other words, you have to buy wetlands somewhere else to make up for the ones you're going to drain. So that adds a lot of cost. I've prepared a sheet based on what one other county does where the district pays half the mitigation cost and the landowner pays the other half. There's no law that says that's how you have to do it. The district as a whole can be expected to pay that just as part of the cost. That's going to be probably your biggest decision, is how to handle that. I have a sheet prepared with them paying half the cost of the land. I've got what each landowner would pay. I'm missing 2 small parcels, 2 fairly small areas that I don't think will have much effect. But one landowner alone has $160,000 in wetland mitigation cost. So that's why this was delayed until we could get the mitigation cost, get the wetland determinations, and come up with this. So
What's your rationale for saying that? Do you take into factor the owners that get the most benefit out of this as to the mitigation?
mitigation just boils down to, do they have a farmed wetland on their property? Will this tile project affect it?
Right.
That's
But in
basically,
deciding whether to go half and half,
oh,
okay, should that probably be done by the landowners amongst themselves? I don't know.
That'd be good input. You're gonna catch the full range, because the ones that don't have any mitigation will want the landowners to pay for it, and the opposite, for the opposite situation. But the county I'm most familiar with has done this for a while. I don't remember them having a meeting like that, but there's certainly no harm.
I did talk to John Torbert about it, and he and Doug Strike talked to a Kevin Griggs, who heads up the Iowa Ag Mitigation Bank, and he said that in his experience, Drainage districts usually do one of the two things. The district pays the mitigation costs and considers it just another expense related to the improvement, or the landowners who own land where mitigation is necessary are told to go obtain the credits on their own.
So there's three options.
Yeah, true.
They didn't recommend the half and half. They don't recommend doing half
Happy.
districts, half landowners.
But that is the mitigation people that said that, right?
And Doug Strike and
Oh, Doug.
John Ford.
That kind of puts us in the hot seat. doesn't it?
Yeah, how do you decide if you're gonna affect somebody's cost drastically?
Absolutely.
Drastically. And the one that has the land that's getting the highest cost hasn't owned it very long either.
Is he receiving the most benefit?
Just looking at farmed wetlands that would be eliminated, it appears so, but yeah, we'd have to look through our pre-classification to really see how we looked at them.
Some of that land is in CRP, so it's not even fine.
I have no idea where this is.
Right.
I was just wondering.
Yeah,
Can I ask a question on that? So are you required, is it just a set thing that you have to take it out of to mitigate it regardless? I mean, if it's in CRP, can you wait? I mean, what is the rules around when you have to mitigate?
Well, you don't have to take it out of CRP if it's a CRP wet land.
Just have to mitigate it even though it's in CRP?
Yes, that's the word I have anyway. We'd verify that.
So if this tillage project helps it out, you have to mitigate it
Yeah,
regardless of what
that's the
land is.
general rule.
Even if you want your tiles, so that you can't-
Well, there's been cases where we've gone around wet areas and things like that to try and avoid it, but they've gotten, the latest ruling I have received was if it's in the watershed and you're improving the watershed, you're affecting the wetland. That's the last I've got. Longer ago, we put non-perforated through wetlands and been able to do it, but they came down harder on that too.
So these are all farmable wetlands and wetlands.
Yes. Yeah, the FW classification is the one they tend to look at.
Sad thing is on this, the tile's been in such disrepair and under design for so long that it's affected those wetland determinations.
Yeah.
It goes, the
Now-
tile goes right through it where
Yeah.
it's done.
They say that they take that into account.
Because when we were surveying out there, there was water standing year round on that gravel road that runs east-west. That's always there.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like maybe them landowners didn't appeal it at the time they designated that wet farm.
That's very possible. We've
That's a
been through
bad
that.
deal.
Yeah, yeah.
That happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, you absolutely should appeal it if you have any question at all.
and you still can,
Yes, yes,
yes.
yes.
Because these were just done, I mean.
Oh, yeah, recently, just in the last few months. Yeah, you still can. Yeah, I don't know how much research they do on the existing tile that are in there. Supposedly, you can put back what was in there, even if what's in there is crushed now. You can put it back the same size.
That's the stinker.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And
Why is that?
Because you can't enlarge them or you can't deepen them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I have one case.
If it's designated a farmable
Right.
wetland, but.
Yeah.
That it was a productive farm at one time,
Sure.
so you got an argument point.
I can remember one case where it was worth going back and replacing it. It was just crushed so bad and it had cover and several factors made it worth doing. Most cases, it's not worth trying to replace it because it's still gonna be shallow, almost exposed. You can't upsize it.
and that's the case here.
Yeah.
Well, but you still gotta maintain it.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah,
Neighbors
yeah,
upstream, it's gotta be
absolutely,
maintained.
absolutely. Yeah, technically, you'd have to go in and replace it. If there was a petition for repair, you'd have to go in and
And we've
replace it.
done a lot of repairs on this tile up and down.
Oh, yeah, that lower part especially, no cover. And through some of the wet holes, no cover.
I think the two areas that come to mind are, where the ditch is designed to go along the fence line. That area's been constantly repaired every year, and then through the Sunday farm, that's been constantly.
Very
repaired.
shallow. Well, when we looked at, sorry,
When you say shallow, what do you mean? How?
foot of cover,
You can
when
see
we
some of
looked
it.
at putting in a tile all the way down to the existing outlet, our new pipe, I want to say it was 54 or 60 inch, it was going to be, for the 1 inch coefficient, it was going to be over a foot out of the ground.
Out of the ground.
So
Yeah.
very, very shallow. Existing system.
But we're gonna have to maintain it anyway.
But you could cover that.
Yeah.
If you wanna buy some dirt, you spend some more money.
Or you relocate it.
Well, they've done that county tile in Lake now, DD, about 52, whatever it is.
Yeah, it can be done. Typically, it's just helping that pipe carry water, it's not helping it drain. If you're putting pipe water over, putting dirt over the top of it, so, but
Our property is the one that has about 21 acres. And I don't find it in the classification sheet for the benefit, for any benefit, I don't find it, but there is one 4-inch lateral runs into that 21 acres. And as it is, talking to the drainage in RCS, when they did the wetland, they were going on 1979 and what's been done. I'm new to this drainage, I'm just saying what I was told. And that line probably has some spots in it that are closed, but you could improve by fixing those spots, but you couldn't put any more unless you mitigate it. But that cost is phenomenal to mitigate that amount of acres for the benefit that I can see in there.
we're just gonna check on the parcels.
You have a cost on what it would cost to repair that line.
Not really, because we weren't sure what extent to do the repair on, how much of the length. Person could try and inventory that, talking to the landowners and just a quick run over it.
So if that line was working properly, would that lessen the mitigation cost for these guys?
Supposedly not, because they're supposed to take it into account, but I believe it would help enough to make a difference. It's just you almost have to, you do some filling over it where you can, otherwise you'd have to mark it somehow so they don't drive on it. You can put in, and you could put in stronger pipe, so it wouldn't break as easy. That's not an improvement. Same size, same slope. That's all you really need to meet, so it's the same capacity. I'd put in reinforced concrete pipe if you were doing a repair instead of just cement or clay. Yeah, there's no clear-cut answer to this. Too many variables.
Well, that's a lot of mitigation costs, holy smokes.
Yeah.
And there's only one choice for mitigation.
Yes. There's something to do with where they have their sites and things like that, yeah. Yeah, that's gradually gone up over the years. When we were first mitigating, it was 10,000 an acre, then it jumped to 12, and now it's 15. So the landowners, with our example, will be paying 7,500 an acre.
So if the landowner doesn't tie into the new system being proposed, you don't have to mitigate?
No, you still do.
You still have to mitigate?
Still have to, because they're saying that would.
Well, then it wouldn't help.
I don't think it would in the end, but it would look different if the tiles were all working.
Right, okay.
But, yeah, won't change the soil type or the vegetation probably.
So to clarify on the mitigation, do you have to go to the bank and pay the 15,000? Can you find your own?
That's always an option. It's
Because that
just,
just seems really expensive compared to the land.
It's just- what scares most people out is the paperwork that's involved. Yeah,
What we had NRCS in here last week, and I asked the question to them about finding local mitigation. And he said, well, they would have to go out and assess it and test it, make sure it's like soils. It can't be just junk soils compared to what you have taking up. So we had talked about on the lower end of this district where the line or the open creek meanders to the river, it has possibility of flooding there if we're going to send more water to it. Why can't we mitigate there? And that landowner who has those concerns could actually get, financial benefit from it. So, but it'd be a process. I don't know. We'd start with the NRCS and see if it does match. First, we have to get the landowner to agree to that process. The landowners.
Where is it coming out of now? Okoboji or somewhere over Social Expensive? I don't know where you're getting it now. That's what I understand. I don't know if that's right.
no, not that. Several years ago, we did one in Okoboji that needed mitigation, but this has been 15 years ago, and it was 32,000 at the time because it was a different type of wetland. Yeah.
The NRCS, when I would talk to them, they referred to along the interstate, so line somewhere, I'm not exactly sure.
I've seen the one that's south of Clear Lake. So I thought that was also allowed. That's an example, but
Yeah.
I don't know where they're getting.
And I don't know where the sites are. They're always looking for new sites. And they
Seems
say
like
they have-
once they get it, they sell it out pretty quickly.
Yeah. Because it's the only way to really go forward with projects like this.
So we have to determine which way we would mitigate if we're going to do that. Who the cost is going to be.
Who's going to bear the cost?
I just rough figures, I'm looking at, if we did the half, and paying in the percentage of the, we're looking at 175,000 to mitigate it. Besides the improvements of the district. That looks like a pretty big file for 21 acres.
Yeah, that's a tough spot, that one is. There's so many acres.
That's why I don't think it's fair to you guys, but for us to arbitrarily make a decision. I think that's something that ought to come from all the landowners. Am I wrong? Glad to be corrected.
No, yeah. As long as you can get good input, it's gonna cause a little bit of a division because there'll be some that absolutely feel they shouldn't have to pay any of it. And there'll be those that, yeah, it's not my wetland.
But that's gonna come up whether it's decided amongst them or we do.
Yeah, true.
Either way.
True. It's true.
In other words, if we're mad at each other instead of us.
Well, I'm would go into this with a lot of trouble. I really would.
Well, I don't think there's a way to let the landowners decide. It's more their input to us.
Yes, yeah, no. That's
Correct.
all, yeah.
But we also need to be about done with this. Their engineering costs are already almost at the limit that they've estimated.
Yeah, because.
And they haven't even done the project
Yeah,
yet.
it's
Yeah.
essentially designed.
You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
We've got to make some decisions.
Yeah, I agree,
It doesn't have to be today,
but soon.
but there needs to be an end date of this. We can't keep talking about it.
Well, then if they've done almost everything they can do, we're pretty much at the end of their cost.
But there will still be more.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
that'd be
it's
the final
taking-
design once we determine which area.
Yeah, and we're close.
Yeah, the final design is even essentially done.
Okay.
I just don't want to waste more engineering.
Right,
Costs.
same here too. We
So-
don't-
Yeah, and that'd be minor.
Not a big thing.
It'd just be a shame for all that to be, for not.
Right.
But yeah, if it's not gonna go forward, let's
Yeah.
cut off the engineering as soon as we can here.
How many are in this? You know offhand?
Well, and then there's multiple issues.
Yeah, I know.
And how do you weigh
Not a
out
huge number of land.
their opinions? Do you weigh it by the
Well,
number of acres
we
they have?
would once we have that meeting.
69 parcels.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah, that's.
I was looking for the plot numbers.
Oh, okay.
And the only, we still can't stop the project because we can't get a remonstrance. So it will go
Committed to
through.
this point.
Right, unless Mr. Thompson says so.
Well,
So,
there is an allowance somewhere in the law about hardship or something, but she's right, that it didn't meet remonstrance.
what do you guys as, I mean, you're landowners, what do you want to see happen?
Personally, I like
Representing one.
I'd like to have some mitigation. I know there's much there, so it's not so much of a factor for me. But I just think I like having
I guess I'm leaning towards the half. I think that's the best way to spread the costs to the projects without, but also those that benefit the most from mitigated acres have to pay some of their fair share.
How tough is it to have a number for benefit on these parcels? As far as determining the mitigation cost?
Well, we can simply add the cost. What we've done in other cases is like we'd add a column to our list of cost for every parcel that has a wetland, projected wetland cost in it. And so then those that had to mitigate, they'd have an extra column, and then we'd have a total with their wetland mitigation cost in it too.
Total, like, all to them or at the,
We could do it both ways, because we just double the figure here if it all went to the landowners. Or we can,
right.
and we're still getting into options though, because we have to add that, the other half of this cost to the 1.8 million at the end.
And I did that in my estimate to them.
Okay. Oh,
I did.
Oh,
I
okay.
added the half mitigation.
Put the mitigation in the assessment.
In the letters that I sent out, I did. Yeah, so, no, that's not what I sent though. That's what the engineer gave you. There you go. Yes, that one.
That's the only thing I can.
So I did the cost of the project plus half the
You
mitigation.
did that for us.
Yeah.
That's one thing we don't get in those letters, we don't get to see it.
Isn't that cute?
We just get
Put them on the list.
She did a great job, Will. I mean, it's great looking.
yeah.
See, if you get it, it looks like,
Gonna digress away from mitigation, but why in section 29 northeast quarter, you're still cutting off the corner of that quarter section with the ditch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to you over a year ago over in your office, and we were gonna look at changing that.
Let's talk afterwards on exactly what you're talking about. If this is gonna go forward, we'll wanna be sure we handle that the best way we can.
Would you talk about following the property line?
It follows the property line, but not all the way across to the corner.
Yeah.
It cuts off several acres there.
Yeah, we looked at that, and just with the lay of the land, we'd have quite a bit more cut there, was the concern. We did look at that.
Even to go another, 100 feet down the property line. Because by the time you cut that off, you put buffer strip on, that's gonna be a considerable amount of land off that farm.
Something we could certainly revisit.
Yeah, we can certainly revisit that, see if we can't go a little further.
This is
But, yeah, it seems like somewhere in there, the land jumps up quite a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're following the swales, was the intent of it.
What we'll look at is how much cut that would add and how much extra cost to do that. That'd be part of the final. You know right where he's talking about, right?
Is it right in the light green area?
Yeah.
Just right, that.
Right there.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Since you're already putting in new tile, I'm not an engineer, you know, but couldn't it just do a little bit more of a slope and go down?
Yeah, that's,
You know what I mean?
yep.
Yeah.
But then I don't know how that works with drainage, but to do an L or whatever.
Don't want to do sharp bend.
Right.
Right.
I mean, if it could just somehow go down a little bit further.
Yeah, we'd end up with more cut, was our intent there, but that's something we can.
Oh, yeah, we could definitely
I mean,
revisit
cause you
that.
feel bad for a guy that can't farm it anymore.
Yeah.
So,
She's not an engineer, but she did sleep in Motel 6 last night. Is that commercial?
I don't know what that even
Do
means.
any-
I'll explain it to you.
You're sunk either way now, Bill.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. But, so what do we wanna see next from the engineers?
Can I ask a question?
You can.
Representing an older couple that owns land in here.
Sure.
It's Marjorie and Merle Robinson. I'm a farm tile guy.
Yeah.
And we do work for them, and I'm sure Merle was close. I told Merle, go talk to the engineer, and I'll bet he did.
I bet he did.
I bet he did.
Yeah.
But they got a problem, and you correct me, Terry or Chris, is it BD 14 where he drains to the south?
Right.
But Terry, can you point that out on the map so the engineer
Okay,
knows
so
where we
the
are?
Robinsons have this parcel here,
Yeah,
Yep.
and this goes here,
yeah.
that lateral, and this, does this flow
That's
across the
my
highway?
concern, that he's got an 8-inch county tile that flows north. But actually it goes through the highway, and he's gotta suck up a lot of water on the south side of the highway. And I said, well, it'd be nice if you could block that tile off or cement the surface pipe. Because when that fills up, his 8-inch tile has a heck of a time saving them acres.
Because this.
Are you gonna can you bring a lateral, and evidently those acres are in DD 14. Can you bring a tile up to there and cut the existing off?
You can, it'd have to be probably, if it's not in the area that would pay on 11, you'd have to annex some in. But they couldn't get out of the other district they're in either.
Well, I think you can.
Well, your
I've
surface
been
water still
told
goes,
You can, yeah.
you know, so you pay less of a rate.
There you go.
Yeah,
Okay, you don't get
it's
out,
just reduced.
but it's reduced.
They're old enough, they don't wanna really get involved in a petition for a bigger tile.
Sure.
And even then, what's the chance of boring under that to pull them acres? I mean, yeah, it can be done.
Mhm.
I said, go see the engineering firm and see if you can't get them to put a lateral up to the highway.
We can recommend that. I mean, yeah, we're glad to talk to landowners. We learn a lot from talking to landowners.
But it's really important for his ground to do something.
So you're talking lat 16?
No. Oh, no, right here. This area right here,
Oh,
on the west side of the acreage.
So you'd add a new lateral?
Yeah, it'd be nice.
It's right here.
Okay.
So there is a lateral here,
Yeah,
so you're talking about adding a new lateral to that.
well, right here, yeah. And they're 12-inch tile up to the highway.
That wouldn't be going through his ground and,
No,
okay.
no.
There's a way to do that, either as a district or privately. But he'd end up probably paying more towards this DD11 then, somewhat.
Well, I'm
But
sure
it'd
he
improve
wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, it'd improve his drainage a lot, I'm
Oh,
sure.
huge.
You have a good outlet and a tile run up there. It's doable. If it's to go forward.
But that's a
we'd like to talk-
petition that
Yeah.
he's gonna have to bring up. Somebody.
To this DD11?
Well,
Yes.
you're gonna petition to add a lateral, so we're gonna annex that in, and yes. And we just reclassified 14, so it's great that you'd want to change that now.
This is already part of it, right here.
This drainage supposed to be fair? It isn't.
Emphasis on supposed to be.
Again,
I mean, there's all kinds of deals where you might have 14 acres going into it, and the neighbor's got 80, and you pay way more than the guy that's got an acre.
It does happen.
It's terrible.
just that.
There's so much flexibility in how benefit is figured that it can be very unfair. I must say, nearly all the commissioners I've worked with through the years have been tried to be fair, but
Well,
that's different.
I know Merle would appreciate that I brought this up, and I didn't intend on doing that today.
Well, and that's just something he'll have to bring up later. It's not part of today's project, and it
It's
won't
nothing
be.
official, but this, it'd be up to him to file to have that done.
So what you're telling me, it would be an after
Yeah,
that?
it is not
After
part
all
of it.
this is left or whatever?
That would be the best.
Yeah.
It's doable,
But then would he end up paying it all?
nearly,
Probably.
if it's draining mostly his ground, some of that,
No, it's draining none of his ground.
oh, it's not draining any of it?
Any of it.
Did you see the map on how that breaks down?
Yeah, I saw the lateral
But
that comes up east of the road.
Well, that's a different area.
Oh,
He's fine with what, well, he isn't, he's a little tight.
okay.
He don't like to spend it, you know him.
So, this is the parcel he's talking about.
Okay.
The corner's in, but see
Ah,
how much of this Sunday farm here is so close to the main?
very, very
Right here
close.
is where.
Yeah.
That would be easily to the main, so such a short distance.
Say again which his is?
This is 14 up here,
Yeah,
and here's that lateral comes up. from
Yeah, I know it.
okay,
And he comes this way,
okay. Okay.
but it'd be at the end of County Sunday.
To make it work, yeah.
Just like.
It wouldn't be a big deal, but yeah, you have to follow the procedure.
So then, how would that affect everybody else that's paying into this if somebody was gonna annex?
Well, if they did it after, it won't affect them at all.
Yeah, and the overall effect would be small enough you wouldn't worry about it. You'd probably just end up with that, any payments in the fund for the district, I assume.
Something credited, it's on it now.
I think, isn't,
What now?
if they're paying some money into this district later
Mhm.
for access,
Mhm.
you'd have a fund you'd put that in, I assume.
Oh, yeah, so
Yeah.
any repairs, anything done
Yeah.
would be that lateral, it'd be just a separate
Yep, yep,
classification.
yep.
Mhm. Mhm. But they wouldn't pay anything into this project, because it's not there yet.
Right, right. Yeah, and with them putting in a lateral, you just basically pay for the benefit they get now, not for past benefit.
Well, maybe pick them up one day and bring them down.
You could take them.
Whichever, where would you like me?
Well, yeah, if we were coming down for something anyway, that worked great here,
Meet you here.
yeah. And there'd be any records, as long as, yeah, not make a special trip. But
Will you know your next visit here?
Can we talk about that after we finish this up? That'd be great. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You bet. You bet.
Okay, so back to where we're at.
Any input currently from landowners? We can prepare whatever do you the most good, whatever you think would do you the most good. All the facts and figures, it wouldn't take much to put whatever you need together. And we're all for a decision being made one way or the other.
I would say if you can make a spreadsheet where you have one column that's the 50/50, one that's 100% on them. That could be a third column that just has all on the district. So, yeah, I guess it's not an addition to.
And then-
100% of the district, 50% of the district, or 0 to the district. Would be the 3 choices, so.
How does that mitigation get paid? I mean, is that, how does that work?
Typically, it's part of the bill for the drainage levy.
Okay,
It's just that it'll come like a regular drainage levy, it just that it's for the,
right, but initially, I mean, when we mitigate this land, who's paying the mitigation people? Am I writing a check? Is it out of?
probably warrants. and-
Right, so it's coming out of the district.
Yes.
It's not like you're paying it and I'm paying you,
Right.
it's not part of your bill.
Right, it's just like
You
it
have
was
to
part
pay
of the
it all
other.
upfront?
What's that?
To the mitigation, do you have to pay that all front?
Well, as soon as you are expecting the credits, I mean, so it's basically upfront. I mean,
Well, what I'm saying is, we'll allow a tenure.
No, the district is
Right.
paying it, yeah. But
Well,
I'm not
that's
billing
what-
anybody
I
until,
know that, but
yeah.
I'm saying, does the,
yeah.
where
they'll
the
get-
money's going to for the mitigation, do they allow a payment schedule or
No,
no?
So with the timeline for this project, if we were to actually in the next month determine what we're doing, what would be the time schedule for construction?
I'd want a couple weeks allowed to just final things up as far as design and cost estimates and all of that. Probably give the contractors 3 weeks examining the plans and then have the bid and start anytime thereafter. So,
A month and a half to bid letting.
yes. And this is long enough, we may allow them to go into next spring as far as construction. Just, it'll help the bids a lot if we give them sufficient time to build it.
So I'm just looking at if we have to pay the credits up front, we'll be carrying those warrants in the next year.
what I do is anything from last July 1 to this June 30 that we've paid out, I bill the landowners for. So that way, this project could be 3-4 years, we don't even know, however many years it could get built out in.
So they could get, just for the credits and engineering, they'll get a levy for that.
So we still need to decide 1/2 inch or 1 inch. We haven't decided that, correct?
That's what the last thing was left off, that option. So
Right.
just a 1/2 inch, I don't know.
Seth, could you speak up? I can't hear.
Sorry, yeah, does anybody want the 1/2 inch? It doesn't seem to make sense. I think Rick said it last time, you get twice the drainage for half the cost, basically, right? Going to
Yeah.
1 inch. You know how this is gonna drain out, especially for like the Sundays, it's not gonna drain out 1/2 inch.
What you're saddled with here is you have a system that's so bad now, the 1/2 inch would look great. But again, if you go to the 1 inch, you're spending whatever the percent ends up, 30% more to get 100% more drainage. So most projects have gone to the 1 inch.
That's just a lot of money for people.
Exactly, that's the whole thing.
I would not want maybe just the 4 of you to decide, you know. I mean, especially for you, Scott, your family's paying the biggest bill, but the smaller farmers around you, it's just gonna be a huge hardship. I agree with you, the 1 inch should be the best choice, I agree. But I don't make that decision.
Just for example, today we have bid lettings on a different district, the 1 inch versus the 2 inch. And you can like see where the 1 inch or the half inch coefficient came in versus the 1. If you guys want to look at that and pass it around.
I mean, it's
Kind of get
it's
an
30%
idea.
more of the bill, but you get 100% more drainage. It makes sense, but it's a lot of money.
Yes.
It's a lot of money. And I don't,
How would, not to throw a wrench into this or anything, but what would happen if we did this similar to what we were doing on that other one, where we do a first segment, just open ditch to, say, short of that one road? And then we just repair through the Sunday farm and thereon. How does that affect the wetlands? They still have to mitigate all those, don't they?
Yes.
So then, they're not really getting full benefit and still having to pay the wetlands.
True. But it would significantly improve what they have for drainage. So, yeah.
That's what we just for the ditch.
Well, yeah, what we've done is we've tried to estimate like right of way and construction and everything else. We've come up with was it $100 a lineal foot? Yep, $100 a lineal foot for the ditch construction.
That
So,
was 60-some hundred feet.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just under 700,000 for ditch, for the estimate. And we kind of wanted to look at potentially some turf reinforcement matting, which would stabilize the banks, which we've had so much trouble with erosion, with digging a new ditch, which that may potentially at a little cost.
yeah.
What's your slope going to be on the ditch?
Center line slope or the side slopes?
Side slope?
2-to-1, I think we had it.
Which a lot of these existings we've had slip off aren't there. They're lucky to be 1-to-1.
But that's the problem we've seen, especially through the deep pods.
Yes.
There's more sand, I think, through some of this.
Yeah.
and did you ever decide that you wanted the open ditch? I mean, those were options. I believe that's what they wanted was to have that open ditch.
We determined that you can't.
No, nothing's been voted on.
There were 4 options initially.
Right.
But you can't get the cover to get a
Get
proper
it,
improvement.
yeah, to
Right.
get the pipe in. Yeah.
So we kind of discarded that last time.
Yeah,
We decided to at least go a half a mile of open ditch.
So now our options are a half inch or 1 inch with a short ditch or a longer ditch.
there we go.
Okay.
Did you say the longer ditch was slightly cheaper?
Yes, yes, because we eliminate the arch pipe that's so expensive.
Yes. It was what, 2.5 down to 1.8?
1.8,
Yeah. Saving 700,000.
yeah, major saving.
And then I don't remember in the estimate, did you have costs for, because you'd have to buy an easement and how much that is? Did you have all of that in that
Intent
estimate?
with the $100 a foot was to take care of the easement for the ditch.
Okay, okay,
Purchase of the right of way.
okay. So whoever that landowner is gets that. And is it, because we're taking out of production forever, that's a good price for that? That's,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The part that is in the new ditch completely would be market value basically of the ground.
Does that include the corner of that farm that you're cutting off? Does the county have to buy that? They have right of way to put a ditch across it,
They'd have to buy some area.
but not all of it, because you're rendering it unfarmable to the landowner.
What we would encourage is to see if there'd be some kind of land trade or something so that it could be used. But that'd have to be done privately.
or if you just decided to send that tile south a little bit further and
Yeah,
extend that ditch.
try and minimize, really minimize the land that would be twice a day, so.
Can you extend it out to this property corner?
It's very physically possible, it just might add some quantity to the ditch excavation. It will add some quantity.
Well, how much would that be? Would it be minimal cost?
We'd have to look at it.
Yeah, we'd have to look at the elevations. Yeah, it wouldn't be drastic. Yeah.
Are you adding 100,000 or are you adding
Oh,
10,000? I mean, what,
10 to 20 if I had to just
Yeah.
throw out a number.
so, and you're splitting that amongst the landowners?
Yeah.
So,
That would be an option that I would figure out. I have to go with it is, because otherwise it's pretty unfavorable to that farm.
Oh, sure,
Putting that much money
sure,
into the project.
sure, understood.
in your picture today on the wall, is the blue to the gravel road, that's where you want all of the open ditch to be, the long one?
Yes.
Okay,
And
because
we'll
the
stop.
short one ends at that fence line in section 24 in the middle there,
Takes a turn.
Yes,
where it takes a turn, that's where it is.
yes.
Oh, there you go, thank you, I wasn't aware of that. Okay, thanks. Okay,
And we'll, again, what was brought up, we'll stop short of that road with the long ditch to make that access available.
So this would be the more expensive.
No, this would be.
Now,
This
what's
would
showing
be-
up there now is.
Oh, you got
This
the,
is more expensive.
oh, you got the short one. Yeah, that'd be more expensive.
So even if went to the longer one, if you extend it out, it certainly would be considerably less than what you're doing there, which would,
Yes,
would spur
yes.
that corner. So
yeah, the idea is to eliminate those arch pipes. They're about twice the cost for the same capacity.
So in other words, then all told, it would be, even if it added a slight cost to it, just to go to the property corner, it would be cheaper than going with this option.
Yes, oh yeah, definitely.
so then are we back to the half inch or the 1 inch with the long ditch, and we're not even gonna talk about the short ditch anymore? I'm just trying to figure out what I'm just gonna do estimates for.
The short ditch is benefit estimates for this kind of road. But I mean, it's significantly cheaper for the common good to have to
So we're back to the longer ditch.
I don't imagine anybody would want the pipe instead of the open ditch, right? I mean, why would you?
Is that much
Only person
more?
wouldn't want it would be me, right?
Less capacity and way more money.
As long as we don't go all the way to the road, because the pull up and pull out would be.
Oh yeah, no, very easy to
Yeah.
stop anywhere.
What
we
kind
want.
of distance do you think you guys are looking at stopping short of 120? Well, that's a good question. I mean, there's a hill there, so I don't know if you're trying to do it based on just giving this room to farm it, or if you're trying to do it, because it does go up there. So I don't know if you just want to stop it right where the hill starts to go up to the road there. That would be plenty of room, but it's less than 100 feet you're talking about. I think it's more than 100 feet of fill there. It would be.
Okay.
It's still gonna be done for tile if we're gonna do it the whole way.
Yeah, the tile would come.
Yeah, so I'm
Right.
thinking, the low spot where it starts to go up, whatever that is, we can start timing.
Did you ever do
Sense to
borings
me.
on that?
Do what?
Have you done borings through that diagonal on there?
Not borings, no.
I watched the county years ago replace a long stretch of that tile, and it's all quicksand, really sand. They had a hard, before you guys owned it, they had a bear cat trying to lay some 24-inch pipe or whatever they are.
I'm sure we'll have to drain some of that sand. I mean, we'll have to tile it basically,
De-water.
de-water it.
What kind of cuts through there do you guys know offhand? Are they 8-foot cuts?
It's been so long since we did our surveying, I'd have to look again. Apologize. It was still fairly shallow.
I suppose being,
I want to say 5 feet max, which ours would be deeper than that, obviously.
Okay, so this is what I think we have. We're gonna do a half inch or a 1 inch with the long ditch estimates. I'm gonna do 3 different columns. I'm gonna have if the district pays the whole mitigation, if we do 50-50, and if the landowner pays the whole thing. Is this correct? And when are we wanting to meet about that?
You're gonna send out notices to them what that cost is?
Yes, yes, explaining kind of what we did today.
So are we thinking 2 weeks then?
Yeah, what did we do with the other one?
Oh, let me just pull her right up.
I feel like I'm lost already.
Would that be the 25th?
I think the 25th, yeah.
I do it the same day and then you don't have to be here.
Right, that's what we're looking at, yeah. I don't like them to come back twice. It's nice that they're here and they agree, but
So Rick, you wouldn't have to be here for that part of it, just trying to decide it.
well, I'll have him come that same day that we're already doing the other.
Oh, okay.
So,
And that way it's just one
Combine
trip.
a trip with 2 or 3 projects that
Yeah.
cuts it way
So the
down.
25th, can we say 10?
Do you think that other meeting will be over in a half an hour?
I'm just asking.
She took her crazy pill today.
I did.
I say 10:30.
Okay. So 2:25.
What do you think, Carl? She crazy?
Well, it all depends on who shows up.
Well, right. I mean, if just he shows up, it's gonna be pretty short.
Are
And then we have-
some of these landowners not around? this time?
Well, I would have thought they'd been here today, I guess.
I can only send out the information.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, she sent it all out. I'm
Oh,
surprised
yeah.
there aren't more.
Absolutely, that's because,
And the
well,
one guy that didn't get it
I
is
think
here.
I think I know why. They're all for it, so. Just, we still wanna see this,
Right,
you know.
right. So 2:25 at 10:30. All right.
So is that an informational meeting?
But I'm gonna have it to make some decisions.
Yeah, with possible action.
Yes, yes,
Sure.
right.
I think you should put in there, they gotta determine that day, so everybody does come.
Yeah.
If they don't,
Mhm.
then if my one vote counts, we can.
We just love the power of it.
Have fun.
So you'll do the same thing for, number 3 also, have another.
Yeah. And we have to do on that one, we also have to consider for approval the actual bid letting contractors and everything. Yep. Yeah, we can get that figured out. Everybody good for today? Did we
I would
answer?
have one thought on the mitigation I don't know, this timeline sounds pretty short to figure out the different options, you know, what can be done, is there different choices for the landowners? Or are we stuck with only the choices of the land bank, one choice, you know, that's gonna take some time to see what the options are on that. But, I can see this becoming a crunch with the options on the mitigation.
If you're gonna pursue mitigation yourself, that will take some time. But I think we'll have some time as far as mitigation goes. I mean, they're available. If we don't need them, we won't use them. But, yeah, I'd encourage anybody to ask for their determination to be reviewed. Or I can't remember the term they used, but Appeal, yes. And then, right away, you should be looking for some way to do the other mitigation if you can. 99 times out of 100, it ends up in mitigation based on all the paperwork involved.
I already talked about a field when we started out at like 4 acres. And we went back to their date of 79 or something, so that's when they come up with this. And by law, you can appeal it. NRCS said, no, we're supposed to change anything, it's waste of money. But it's something to pursue, but if we pursue an appeal, we're talking more than just those.
Are they, is the NRCS saying you're gonna have to hire engineers and lawyers to appeal it, or is it something you can just?
Well, they got 60 days after the appeal to rule on whether they're even gonna do anything about it, and if they don't accept the appeal, then you have to hire.
I thought things were easing up on the wetland determination, right? this doesn't look like.
No, we thought it was going to also, but
And Chris, we need to figure out that, West Prairie Cemetery.
Yep.
Any L northeast.
Yeah, I'll figure that out. I just have to get with Sue.
Will the new figures include extending that ditch to the property corner or not when it comes in 2 weeks?
I can do everything I can to make that happen, certainly.
That would be good because otherwise that farm loses several acres, so that's a lot of cost in addition to what's on here.
oh, sure.
I'll make that a
And
priority.
You're not figuring that cost, so in fairness, that should go spread out because the farm takes a good share of the cost for this.
Is that something you could maybe get by Thursday, so I can get a letter in the mail Thursday? Is that pushing you too hard? Otherwise, it's only a week and a half that they have notice for.
Possibly. Could try.
Right,
Certainly try.
right. Because I don't want to have them wait too long to have notice,
Yeah, certainly.
Right,
You
yeah,
know.
that's what I was thinking about too.
but we already have you coming that week.
What time? Like right away, first thing?
No, because I can have everything else ready and I just have to plug the numbers.
Okay.
And so that won't take me very long. So once I have the letter done, I just have to stuff them in the envelopes and go.
Well, and
So I have until
we'll be able-
4:30.
We'll be able to do that.
Okay,
Because you don't need the action. Yeah.
Yeah, we should be able to.
okay,
Yeah,
that would be
We're
great.
probably gonna use our $100 a foot item.
Sure, yeah,
Because it's just ballpark at this point, or best estimate.
right.
I'm thinking overall plans.
No.
A little ahead of us.
No, I don't want that. Just what we're talking about today.
Certainly.
So now are we good? What are we still gonna do about his mitigation? What, because that can't be decided in 2 weeks. So then what?
You mean if he appeals it?
Mm-hmm. So do we even need to have this on the 25th? That's the next question. You don't.
Well, his situation is gonna affect him significantly, the rest of the district not that much. I mean, because
So wait.
if his went down 50%,
Mhm.
they'd knock 80,000 off of a $1.8 million job.
Right, so it won't affect the overall
Yeah, the overall
project.
cost.
So I can still, because this would be the most that people would pay.
There you go.
You know, so if yours went lower, everybody else is gonna go lower. It's not like it's gonna add anything else to anybody else's property.
Right.
So I could still send it out, knowing that. Is that okay?
Just being the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like it's gonna make the project go up.
Actually just deciding where the mitigation is going. Who's paying for it? At that.
No, it's on the, it's how we're gonna pay for it, yeah, is gonna be on that letter, but we're still not paying for it yet, so that could still go down. And nobody else who's on the mitigation list even called me. So.
Okay.
Because Carol, were you one? Did you have to mitigate?
No, he was the leader.
We need to change.
Oh, yeah, because you're not
Change
in,
an address.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting on and all this.
There you go. All right. Well, if everybody's good, then I think we're done, right? What do you guys think? You're the board.
We stand adjourned with your permission.
Well, I mean, if everybody's okay, then.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I've got the parcel number, yeah,
And that's, it's been coming to our end.
right.
For help with that.
And when that came, in my mind, the church was in it, I wasn't thinking about that cemetery. So when you called me, I wasn't thinking about that cemetery.
Well, I
And